All right, today's session of growth mindset, study group is scheduling priorities. As you all know by now, some of you are already feeling a little overwhelmed with all the stuff you need to get done, right? So how do you prioritize things? So before we start, we're gonna go over our mission and vision. So our vision is to elevate people's growth mindset so we all achieve higher ambitions. Our mission is to guide first generation high school students so they will pursue and obtain a college degree. Okay. All right, feeling check in the chat box. Let me know how are you feeling on the chat box. Let me know how are you feeling. Feeling check. You got comfortable. Feeling thankful, relieved, nice. Optimistic. Oh, I like that one. Overwhelmed. Same. I feel overwhelmed. Content and thankful. Nice. Good. All right. Good stuff. All right. So the next part of this is I'm going to have you do a pair. And I want you to discuss this question. What do you value the most in a friendship? What do you value the most in a friendship? Okay, so I'm gonna pause. 1 minute. All right, how was that? Too short? Do we need 10 more minutes? No, we don't. All right, thank you all for doing this. Oh, where is my thing? Oh, can all of you see my screen? Yeah, all right. All right, so we're gonna skip the 36 questions because I just did that with y'all. I selected that, pre-selected the question. All right, so what's the point of what's the purpose of study groups is to increase our connections with other scholars, improve our students' success skills, and guide you to practice your growth mindset. So things that you thought you knew, right? I'm coming in and giving you a different approach to it. So hopefully you can develop a better sense of that skill. For this session, I want you to take notes. We reviewed last week as to why that's important. We discussed that taking notes can, you know, have something for you to review later on. You have proof of evidence, you know, when in case I or another staff member says one thing, you know, you have a records like you actually said this, or you actually have this on this other paper, and you demonstrate respect because all these slides, all this information does take time to put in. You taking notes does give me a sense of respect. All right, be ready to engage through Zoom controls, ask questions, share ideas. All right, so Slack like a pro. Make sure you take, I'm going to give you a 1 minute to use your channel. Oh, well, that's to use the emoji. And I want you to read and acknowledge all the 2 messages I sent today. So make sure you take a moment to do that. And so far, everybody did their growth mindset workshop sign up. So that's good. So take a moment to go through the messages on Slack and do the emoji reaction. Kyle, thank you. Chelsea, thank you. Leslie, nice. Justin, thank you. Antonio, thank you. Chelsea, the student. Maisha, thank you. Got it. I like this. I like this. All right. Our group agreement was to turn on your camera, show your lovely face, be present and engage with me and your group, give your ideas a chance. But it's okay to pass if you really, really can have the thought process at that moment. You can tell me, give me a minute, or I need to pass, okay? Respect people's stories and contributions, be trustworthy by making sure our sharing stays in this group. Take notes and invest your time into learning. All right, today's session is going to be simple, but yet important. Is to understand how to prioritize tasks. I know a lot of you have a lot of things going on right now. It's kind of in the middle of the semester almost. So how the heck can you know which thing is your priority? Just a quick reminder before we go on into this. So your weekly requirements is a big culture seminar once a week, attend study group once a week, attend coaching session once a month. As I said, Valerie will be reaching out to schedule one, and attend a growth mindset workshop once a month. All right, question for you all. What's the difference between scheduling your priorities versus prioritizing your schedule? What's the difference? What's your understanding of these two different concepts? Scheduling your priorities versus prioritizing your schedule. Give you a few seconds to think about this. All right, Manisha, give it a try. What's the difference?
I think scheduling your priorities means more like specifically putting your priorities in order in like the way you think you would want it to be done, like most important to least important. And then prioritizing your schedule might mean that putting your schedule first other than like, you know, other things that may come up. So meaning getting to your schedule, like for sure, like getting your schedule done.
All right, you're like 95% there. Good job. All right, who can take it home? Who's gonna make it 100? What's the difference between scheduling your priorities versus prioritizing your schedule? Manisha just has it like right there. What's the difference? Or why it's so important to know the difference between these two things? Antonio, what are your thoughts?
I think it's important to like know your schedule and know which is come first, which ones come first.
Okay, so you need to know what comes first. Got it. So the only, so yeah, you're right. Often scholars or people in general will have a lot of things that they need to work on, right? And sometimes that's overwhelming and often leads to procrastination because we just don't want to deal with that. So what happens is then things don't get done. And then next thing you know, you're all stressed because at the end of the day, all the stuff that you didn't do it earlier, now you have less time to do them and now you're like overwhelmed. So in order for you to create a schedule, which I think all of you have learned to do that, is to actually know how to prioritize those things, like which one is the most important thing that needs to get done, and then set up a priority, then setting up the schedule. Both things are important because it doesn't matter how neatly you prioritize and how neatly you create that schedule. If you're not going to prioritize your schedule because you're going to take other things that come in and then just like ignore that. How many of you have done that where you set a nice to-do list and then your friend's like, hey, let's go to the movies. You're like, okay. And then the next thing you know, like 4 hours later, like, I should stay home. Right? So this is where it's important to know the difference and why both things are important. All right. So a schedule, just to make sure we understand, schedule is like reminders, right? It tells you, what do I need to do tomorrow? Oh, this is what I need to do tomorrow. Also, schedule helps you keep organized, right? So all of this how can it help you with prioritization? Well, I'm going to tell you a story, okay? Story time. So this is me back in my early college years. For those who don't know, I actually was undocumented when I was in high school. Well, actually towards the end of high school and into college. So a lot of my jobs, in order for me to pay my tuition, was to get those construction jobs, roofing, gardening, whatever I could do to get money to pay for college. So in this case, a friend of mine actually hired me to to clean up his parents' house. It was this huge two floors house, and I had to like clean it up. I remember the first time I went there, it was like this. The very first day of my job was like, this is the garage. And in my head, it's like, what have I done? What did I say yes to, right? How do I even get started on this? How do I prioritize, right? So I was freaking out. So my friend, or more like a mentor to me, he's like, I know you're freaking out. Let's set up a priority list. So we started to say, okay, what things need to get done first? All right, we need to rent a dump truck. We need to do, and we started to create all the stuff that needs to get done. Then we prioritize the things. And a few months later, that same garage was this lovely garage, all cleaned up, all painted, refurbished, good to go. I don't think I would be able to have done such a good job if I didn't know how to prioritize and had to set a clear schedule. So I follow through with my with the things I needed to do. So then it comes this. Some of you, especially if you're going to go into business school, you're actually going to learn about this. This is the Eisenhower decision matrix. Advisors, do any of you have seen this before? Yeah. All right. So it's a quadrant where you have on the top part, you have the urgent, not urgent. And on the side, you have not important, really important. So things that are on the top left corner are things that you have to do now. Like there's no, like, remember that sense of urgency that I discussed last week? Well, this is where it comes in. Like, this is where it needs to get done now. Is it gonna take me less than 2 minutes to do it? Let's do it now, right? Is it like my boss gave me a deadline that is due today? Let's do it now, all right? Then, whether it's urgent, but it's not really important, right? You can either delegate, and this is another skill that I have come to learn in my years in working as a manager. I had to, there's certain things I can do on my own and certain things that I can have others to do. One example would be the advisors, right? I'm delegating them to check in with you. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard for me to do like a check-in question with every single one of you, right? So I need to be able to delegate. I need to be able to give Jocelyn, the advisor, 1 or 2 students that she can work with, and then Chelsea, 1 or 2 students, so I can be able to focus. Doesn't make sense. So that's the power of delegation, right? Then you have some stuff that are important, but they're not urgent. So then you need to schedule that time. One of those things, for example, would be helping your parents, right? It is important to help your parents, especially if you're going to help them translate. Now, it is up to you to decide if it's urgent or not. If it's not urgent, then schedule a scheduled time for it. This is something I had to do with my mom, where she will ask me to call her clients when she used to be a housekeeper. So I had to like set time in the evening and make sure I follow through with that. And it gets done. It didn't need to be done on the spot, but I could get it done later, and it got done. And things that are both not important and not urgent, delete. This is where it comes the power of saying no to things. And it's going to be very hard, especially when things like, hey, let's go get some ice cream. You know that ice cream is not going to take you just 5 minutes. The fact that you have to leave your house, meet your friend somewhere else, it's going to take like 1, maybe 2 hours, right? So maybe you might have to delay it for that day. Maybe you can schedule it for another thing, because maybe, although it's not urgent, maybe it's important to have a good relationship, right? A good mental health break. Maybe not today, let's do it for tomorrow or the next day. Does that make sense? Questions on this? Leslie, what's your understanding of this matrix?
More of like, before you make a decision, kind of like put the situation into the matrix and like think about in which category it goes, and then make your decision then.
Yes, this will help you on decision-making process. Good. Hyatt, how about you? What's your understanding of this matrix?
like how she said, like it basically helps you decide on whether the test that you're gonna do or that you are doing is important or urgent, and like what you should do with it. Like delegate it for later to somebody else, or like decide when you can do it, or not just not do it in general.
Yeah, good. So this is another way to look at it. Do first things that you need to focus, first to focus, important tasks to be done at the same day. So this is another way to kind of think about it in a more simplistic way to look. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna you to take a screenshot or whatever you need. Here's the to-do list that I need you to organize on this matrix. Right, so things like trying to get together with your friends over the weekend, complete your UC app 2 on the 12th, same thing as CSU. Those who have an econ, you have an econ assignment due this Friday, spending 4 hours on TikTok. I'm finishing TV series, writing a 5-page paper for English class, which is due next week, and research paper for history class, which doesn't really have a deadline, right? Taking care of your sibling, and then your Tuesday and Thursday work shift. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes, and I want you to tell me in which quadrant each of these things belongs to. Okay, 3 minutes. Questions? No? No questions. Wow. All right. For 3 minutes, starting now. This also includes the advisors. All right, so let's start going to fill this stuff. All right, so let's start with Leslie. Planning together with a friend. Which category should be 1, 2, 3, or 4? Oops.
I put the third one, delegate, because you could plan it with your friends. See who like what day you like, schedule it together, but like delegate it with them, like talk it out with them.
Okay, so essentially you're not the one having to plan the whole thing, right? You can be like, hey, I would like to hang out. Do you mind setting it up and just let me know? Right? Good. Thank you. All right, Antonio, where would complete UC app, which is due November 12th? Where would that be?
I said schedule, because like it's due later on in life.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Maisha, complete CSU app, which is due November 12th.
I personally put schedule because it is pretty important, and if I were to look at my list and I see so many things going on that are due before it, I'd probably want to get those out the way and schedule it for a certain time, a couple days prior, so I could work on it.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, Jocelyn, the advisor, econ assignment due this Friday. Where would that go?
I put it to do first.
Do first. Why is that?
It's because it's the earliest thing that I have due, so I just get it over with so I could start on my other work.
Got it. Good. All right. Chelsea, the advisor, spending 4 hours on TikTok and finishing that TV series. Where would that go?
I put category 4 to delete because it's neither important nor urgent.
That is my favorite TV show. I would say this is a tricky one. I think 4 hours of TikTok, those videos are gonna be pretty much there. Maybe they're not gonna be as viral, but they're gonna be there. Same as TV series. You can, if you have Netflix, sure. But the argument would be, you need some mental break. So I would potentially schedule it. Maybe I wouldn't schedule 4 hours in one punch. I will do 1 hour every night. Maybe that could be my reward for finishing all the things I need to do first. Oh, so the idea of this is not just to not have fun. Like, again, mental health requires you to feel healthy, right? So if you need to step out for an hour to, do something you enjoy, in this case, like TV series, sure, maybe you're the kind of person that is able to focus with noise in the background. Right? So this is where it's up to you to break down the assignments. Good. All right. Writing 5-page paper for English, which is due next week. Leslie.
I put due first, especially because since it's due by the next week, in case even if you don't have other things to do, you should get it done if you have time.
Okay. Did anybody else put it in a different section? Okay. All right, research paper for history class. Let's see. Kel, what do you have for that?
So I feel like you gotta check in with your teacher first, but like other than that, I feel like it'd be scheduled.
Aha, good job. There you go. Yeah, you need to know when is this due, right? Because if it's due like next semester, then let's put it next semester, right? If it's due like in a week, then let's do it now. Good job. But yeah, putting the first, like I need to check with my professor, like do it now, right? All right, thank you. Chelsea, taking care of a sibling. You weren't here during the little discussion, but where will you put it? Taking care of a sibling.
I would probably put it into schedule and like let my parent know when I can take care of my sibling and when I
Ah, yes, there you go. Communicating. This is where communication and setting clear expectations are important. Good. And then Antonio, Tuesdays and Thursdays work shift. Where would that be?
Schedule, because you gotta schedule that.
You gotta schedule, especially if it's a weekly thing. Good job. Good job. All right. So this is kind of what I did, which we can skip. I'm gonna give you all a 3-minute break. Go stretch. Be back in 3 minutes. Thank you. All right, so we did our scenario, and I want to help you. I want to help you be a little less stressed. So what you're gonna do is, if you can, find a scratch paper that you can write on. Again, physical. If we were at the team center, we would like hand this over. And I want you to do half and then half. Essentially, you're gonna create you know, 4 different sections on that paper. Yeah. And you can do, at the top, you can do first, schedule, delegate, and don't do. Okay. Got it? Then on the back of that sheet, I want you to write all the tasks, just write all the tasks that you need to do for the next 3 weeks. So that will require you to look at your schedule, just making sure you write all the stuff you need to do. Okay. I'll give you all 2 minutes to do that. So fold, and then on the back, you flip it and then just do like a to-do list. Just go down and write everything that you need to do for the next 3 weeks. Could be white scholars related, it could be school related, it could be personal responsibilities, family responsibilities, work responsibilities, whatever you need to get done for the next 3 weeks, put it behind that sheet. All right, I'll give you all 10 minutes. Bonus points if you can think of, if you also have the deadlines for those things that need to get done. Or by when do you want to finish? I'm gonna repeat it one more time. So after you do your to-do list, now you're gonna flip and then you're gonna start sorting all the tasks that you need to do using the matrix. So what it's gonna be doing first, what you're gonna schedule, what you're gonna delegate, and what things you probably don't have to do. All right. Do you need one more minute? Yeah, one more minute? Okay. All right. Let's see what we have. Pretty much we did that. All right, I would like to hear from two people. How does your schedule look like for the next 3 weeks? I'd like to see how this is helping you. All right, Chelsea, either Chelsea. Can one of you let me know how is your schedule looking like for the next 3 weeks?
I can share. My schedule is pretty hectic, and there's a lot of things I feel like I need to schedule. So that's kind of the boat I'm in. I have a lot in my scheduling box.
Okay. How much stuff do you have on your to now?
My to-do now, I have 3 things, but one of them is all of my homework for this week, which is quite another few things, so those were like my most important tasks that I need to get done right away. And then most of everything else that maybe needs to come up next week or the week after is either to be scheduled or one thing to delegate.
Got it. Thank you so much. All right, let's see, Maisha, how does your schedule look like for the next 3 weeks?
Okay, so do you want me to read all 4 of them or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so for my number 1, my urgent and important, which is due first, I put all the stuff that are due tonight, specifically tonight. I didn't have too much time, but I'll still read them out. So tonight I have an internship reflection due. So they sent me a paragraph to read and they want us to just summarize what it's about, which is also due tonight or as soon as possible, actually. And then another is Cornell notes for AP literature, which is due tonight, and an analysis for AP Lit as well. For number 2, for scheduling, I have a first drafts for UC apps revision with my school counselor. He's been meaning to go over with me, but he's on vacation, so I do need to schedule that with him. And just UC apps in general, I need to find a time. I mean, I already started with Vice Scholars, but just like a scheduled time and date to fully get it through. And lastly, I wanted to add, because you said to add something that's like fun and like we don't want to be bored. So I do value my friends a lot because they're always there for me. So I would say plan like a little small lunch get together with my friends. For my delegate, I just have one. I couldn't think of any, but it's an art discussion, which is due on October 3rd. So it's pretty important, but it's not too soon. And lastly, what I'm trying not to do is binge shows because I'm so busy, but like I crave it sometimes. And yeah, that's mainly it.
Thank you, Maisha, thank you. All right. So the last few things, we're almost done. So make sure some of you did not share with me your Be College Ready seminar and study group, Google Calendar, or whatever you use to organize. So make sure you get it done by tonight. Please, I know we don't have to, I know I can trust that I don't need to remind you when to come for these 2 things, okay? So make sure you get it done. So it should be on your top box, do now. All right, we went over this, which is really good. Thank you so much for signing up. If you haven't, please let me know via Slack what you prefer. And then you see applications are out, make sure. So I did send out a kind of like a game plan to help you, kind of like not to cram things last minute, so I broke down the UC and CSU application for all of you. I spent my week and weekend doing that. So again, please take advantage of that. Class shout outs. I will say commitment. Well, we still had a few people coming in late. I did not send reminders, so it was all of you gonna do that. So thank you so much for doing this. Does anybody, can I get one shout out for someone or something? Essentially, this is appreciation shout out. Anybody?
I would give a shout out to all the scholars for attitude and for commitment, for being here, for showing up and having a good attitude, and really engaging in the like the scheduling activities and everything that we did today.
Thank you, Chelsea. Appreciate it. If you want to think about it and put it on Slack, there's a channel for that. Okay. I would like to see more appreciation. Okay. It really helps not just your peers, but also the volunteers and staff. All right. Let's go with two things. Chelsea, the scholar, what is one thing you learned today, or what is one question you still have about today's session?
I definitely learned to like to figure out when, or like to set due dates for things so I can know where to put them in my schedule.
Nice, thank you. Antonio, what is one thing you learned today, or what is one question you still have about today's session?
I learned it that to like organize my things, to like make sure I put like the important stuff first.
Okay.
That's it, right?
All right, thank you. All right, last thing on my end, today or this week is actually my last day with White Scholars. This week, I'll be moving to another nonprofit. I'll be working with Soccer Without Borders. I'll be working with incoming immigrants to this country, helping them with academic support and just social and cultural adaptation to this country. So I wish you the best. I'll still be here at the Teen Center until Thursday. And then after that, I go into my journey to pursue my higher ambition. All right, well, thank you so much for being awesome today. Appreciate you all, and I'll see you hopefully later this week. Bye.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You